Hello, Classic Vinyl Collectibles back with another video for you, and this is part 4 of my new wave synth pop record collection, and I'm going all the way from A to Z. So here we are on part 4, and without having to give you a long introduction, if you've been seeing my videos, you know what I'm up to, and I'm showing just everything that I have as far as this genre. Parts 1, 2, and 3, of course, were A following up to C. There was a lot to cover in there. So we're going to start here with the band that I highly admired back in the 80s, and that was Dead or Alive. And this song here, Brand New Lover. I would say that these guys were the pinnacle of high energy synth pop, and whoever can compare to Pete Burns' voice. There was another record that came out. It was by Michael Prince, and the song was called Dance Your Love Away. That's about the closest I've ever heard anybody come to this guy's voice right here. But whoever produced these guys' music really knew what they were doing. And that's on the first LP as far as good productions. This one here, I think this was on the third one, Mad Bad and Dangerous to Know. But that album in particular had a song called Special Star, and I would compare that to some really beautiful Italo disco. Moving on, this one right here, Youthquake. I would rate this as a number 10 if it was 1 out of 10. Every track on here is amazing. Aside from You Spin Me Around Like a Record, we've got I Wanna Be a Toy, DJ Hit That Button, Big Daddy of the Rhythm, My Heart Goes Bang. All of these are just really kicking and jamming, high energy, let's say synth pop Euro disco. Much more mellower one with some flutes at the beginning is a song called It's Been a Long Time. And the other one on here is In Too Deep. Love that one. And especially Lover Come Back to Me, which brings me to this track right here. This has that choppy sequence loop all the way through it. It's intense with some really hard hits of the voices. Great dance floor club track back then, and still is. And here's our first one here. This has the 2 tracks on it, What I Want and Misty Circles. What a great way to start off with this album here. What I Want has horns in it, but Misty Circles is a little bit darker, has a really hard-hitting snare. You'd have to look it up. I think there's even a New Year's video live with them performing it. Back then when Pete Burns had his original look. And as I mentioned earlier, this track right here, In Too Deep, this is kind of right up there with the sounds of Stephen Tintin Duffy or Blamage, some of their stuff. That would fit right in with this. What a great time it was to be a teenager when this came out on that Youthquake album. Then we slow things down with DNA, Tom's Diner, featuring Suzanne Vega. If you can imagine the beats of Soul to Soul or even Enigma, right around that time this came out. And I'm not even going to imitate what she's singing. I don't even know what she's singing. You'd have to just look it up. Now this track right here, I think this is the only thing this guy did, David Van Tighem, but it has a beat that sounds like Planet Rock, but the whole thing's on a reverb, so it's sort of echoing. And it has all kinds of sound effects in it, something going on in the background, some people screaming, and a bottle breaking. But the whole thing is in drum reverb. You want to talk about a breakdance track or robot dancing, all that popping we used to do, this is it right here. The first time I heard that was in high school, and there was a DJ that actually, or a high school kid that had his own turntables and mixer. He bought them from Radio Shack, if you remember that place. He was up on the quad, up on the steps with turntables. And this is something that we all wanted. And he was playing that record, and I had to look over and see what it was. David Van Tighem, These Things Happen. A little bit more lightweight. What a cute song this one is. Dominatrix Sleeps Tonight. Very cute song. It was played a lot at the Twilight Zone in Alameda, and that was a goth club that I used to go to a lot. Great track. You'd have to look that one up to see what I'm talking about. And I really need to get these in plastic sleeves, but they're pretty good condition. I've got Die Krupps here with Nights Are Ebb. If you're familiar with Nights Are Ebb, these guys opened up for Depeche Mode, and I think it was at the Cow Palace. This is German techno synth at its best when it comes to Nitzer Ebb, Front 242, and even Severed Heads. I forgot where they're from, but right around that same era. But Machineries of Joy, and this has just got that winding, intense German techno sound to it. Kind of hard to describe, but you'd have to look this one up if you are a Nitzer Ebb fan and haven't heard Machineries of Joy, Die Krupps. David Bowie fans, remember China Girl? It was even featured in that movie, The Wedding Singer, in the club. But the line from this, I think, caught everyone's humor was, "Oh baby, just you shut your mouth." But nice, really flat vinyl. I love these imports. Imports always had really shiny covers and real thin paper. And this one's in excellent condition. One of my favorite David Bowie tracks. Devo, remember Devo? Aside from Whip It and She's Just a Girl You Want and Freedom of Choice, they moved on to doing this track here in the 80s, and it was Disco Dancer, a little bit more harder. Great synth pop track though. If you're a Devo fan, look that one up. Well, you know who's behind me. Doesn't take that much to recognize who that is. That is these guys. Now, when they did Speak and Spell, it was a very, very, I don't want to say cheesy, but very cheap sounding synth pop. I don't know if they did it on some Casios or some really good keyboards at that time, but what a great album Speak and Spell is, and it has Just Can't Get Enough on it. Well, we move in later to Question of Lust, and this one here, though, is A Question of Time. Well, it says A Question of Time on it. On the backside, it says Question of Lust. Question of Time was also redone by Clan of Zymox, much more harder, dark wave. But Depeche Mode, their, of course, original version, if you ever listen to that one there, when he says, "I got to get to you first," and it just starts banging from there forward. Great track. Strange Love, I'd say this was probably one of their biggest songs ever, next to People Are People. But Strange Love, though, can mix with anything that was coming out at that time. I mean, you can mix this with True Faith by New Order, Information Society, All She Wants by Duran Duran. Great track, though. But probably nowhere as good as this writing. And if Martin Gore was doing all the writing of their songs, People Are People had some really meaningful lyrics, such as, "You're punching and you're kicking and you're shouting at me. I am relying on your common decency." And of course the words are, "People are people, so why should it be you and I should get along so awfully." Great track. Oh, and on the flip side is In Your Memory. I always like B-sides. Duran Duran did really good with having B-sides that just didn't fit on the albums. Depeche Mode had some great ones too. And we move into this one here. This one here, it just has the single disc in it. This is obviously a domestic. There is the Italian one, and that is a double vinyl one. One of the mixes of it's called A Heart. His voice is sort of bouncing. It sounds like it's echoing, but it's bouncing over itself when he's saying, "There's something beating here inside my body, and it's called a heart. You know how easy it is to tear it apart." I heard this wasn't one of their most favorite songs, but I love it because it has that, as I described, rubber band bass line of a synthesizer in the background. Really, really moving. Now get the balance right. A little bit more of their darker synth stuff, like on A Broken Frame, and this is a long version. I prefer the long version just because I love this song so much. This reminds me when I was in high school, about 1986, maybe even 85. I don't remember quite when it came out, but it was probably even a lot earlier than that. But I listened to it a lot when I was in high school. It might even be around 82. Shake the Disease, a very, very meaningful song too. I don't know if he's talking about drug addiction, but Shake the Disease might be talking about trying to shake that habit. But remember the video too, and it's got them harmonizing together. And this is on an import as well. There's the back side. But great song by them. Personal Jesus, that was a great track too. This was in their later songs, I think a little bit after I graduated. And then we have A Broken Frame. This one here has Leave in Silence, My Secret Garden, Nothing to Fear. But the one that I liked on here was Further Excerpts from My Secret Garden. It's faster than the original My Secret Garden. Their stuff just got a little bit darker on this album. And I think this is when they had Alan Wilder come in place of Vince Clarke when he moved on to Yazoo, otherwise known as Yaz. And then where he went from there, I will show you in just a moment. Meaning of Love from the Speak and Spell album. Very happy synth pop song. Tell Me the Meaning of Love. Nice song. But Not Tonight. And I remember he's saying, oh God, it's raining, but I'm not complaining. And very, very nice song. I think this was on the Black Celebration album. And good stuff. Stripped, slower, darker. Another nice import here. To collect all of Depeche Mode stuff would be about as costly as collecting all of Duran Duran stuff. And you can see those in my videos, parts 1 through 8, my Duran Duran collection. There's so much to go through, from 7-inch singles, so many unofficial releases, colored vinyls, Square Records, official, a lot of stuff. So I have some Depeche Mode. I used to have their first 4 albums. I do have the Broken Frame. But I move into this one here. This one here is high school for me. Right around 85, I think 86. This is like that Dead or Alive Youthquake album, even Duran Duran's Rio. Everything on this is excellent. It starts off with Something to Do, and then a much lighter one, Lie to Me. But you've also got If You Want to Be With Me. Really, really great produced album right there. Electronic, if you like Johnny Marr from the Smiths, Neil Tennant from Pet Shop Boys, and Bernard Sumner from New Order, you get electronic. They put an album out. Every song on it was excellent. This is a nice one too, Disappointed. I think it came out, it was around, 91, 92 when they made this band here. But it didn't take off as a single as much as this. I've been getting away with it all my life. And you can hear Neil Tennant from Pet Shop Boys. He's singing the chorus in this. There's nobody like his voice as well from Pet Shop Boys. Great track. Getting Away with It. I heard this first on the Quake, KQAK in the Bay Area. The Animal song by the Europeans. Silly song, kind of tribal. I don't understand the video. They're all dressed in white and kind of beating on each other and throwing things, but it was such a great dorky synth pop, maybe new wave song. It's on this label right here, AM Records. This is an import. I just had to have it. This is when I was 13. I think it came out in 80. Yeah, it came out in 82. I was 13. Flipping through the dial, there's the radio station. I heard that come on and thought, what is this new sound that's coming out? And that's up there with Peter Schilling, Major Tom, After the Fire, Der Kommissar, Yellow, I Love You, Ex-Visitors, all that stuff I'll be showing later on. Some of it I've already shown. But 82 was a great time for music and record shopping. Now here we have Eurythmics. Here Comes the Rain Again. If you know Annie Lennox stuff here with Eurythmics, I think his name was David Ball. Great song, especially playing during the rain. One of the biggest records ever made as far as 80s, right up there with Flock of Seagulls, I Ran, or Gary Newman's Cars, would have to be Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. This one is, on the title, is Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. I think she's saying these, but I'm not sure. That bouncing cello synth line has been remixed so many times. So great tune there. And this one here on my last record is Love is a Stranger. She really shows the range in her voice when she says love, love, love. It's almost like a falsetto. But this is a very nice record here to come off of that album. So that right there is D through E, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here. So thank you for watching my video here, and look forward to when we move into Elvis Costello. I'm going to be continuing with the E section of my new wave synth pop records. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I'll get more videos out to you in the future. Hit the like button that supports the channel, and I thank you for watching. Take care.